So now from this lecture onwards, we're going to start with the CSS part of the project. So for that, we need to use your style.css file. So inside of this style.css file, first I'm going to create here a root. Inside of that, I'm going to here specify some color variables, means CSS variables for actually changing the color. So the first color is going to like accent color. So I will be using this particular color to actually give a robotic blue. So for that, I will be using here 4183D7. So this will be the color for the accent color. Alright. And then I need another color which is going to be background color. So background color. Alright. And here I will be using the linear gradient function. So here I will be using the linear. So it's actually not going to be popping up here. So I need to type the entire code. Gradient, and then I need to here specify the round brackets. Then I need to specify the degree, then a comma, and then I need to specify the color code, which is capital, and then 8CBA, and then I need to specify the 0%. Alright, and after that I need to specify the other color code, which is PDB9E8, and then I need to also specify the percentage. Alright, then a Control S. Now it is not going to display any change inside the project because we need to use this particular CSS variable inside the selector code. Alright, and then I need to here specify the another color, which is going to be like light background, and then again I need to here specify the hash symbol 3 times 3, which will basically gives us a gray color, which is like a light, or I can say that the dark gray color. Then for the text color, so here we'll be using the text color and colon, and then here I will be using the capital F8, and capital F8. Then I'm going to control save it. This will be the white color for the text. And then here I need to use the chat box color colon, and then here I need to specify the hash symbol 3 times 5. And then if I control save it, then you can see we get the little light version of the dark, or I can say that there is a different variation of the gray color. So these are the color variables that I will be using for actually controlling the colors inside this particular robot joke teller application. Also in some places, for speeding up the procedure, means to speed up the code procedure, I will be using the color directly with their names. Alright, so after this particular root selected, it's time to select the body. Inside of the body, the first thing is I will be applying the font family, which is going to be sans serif 1. Then for the background, here I will be using the background property, and then I need to here specify the where to actually access these CSS variables. So here I will be using the background color. If I control save it, then you can see the linear gradient color, that is this particular one, is actually applied to the project. But there is a problem, that is this particular repeated pattern. But don't worry, I'm going to add here some more properties to actually solve this particular issue. So here I will be using the display, which is going to be flex, and then I need to use the align items, which is going to be center, and then I will be using the justify content, which is going to be center. So you can see now the content is actually shifted to the center of the screen. Then I need to specify the 100 VH height. Now you can see the double shade problem of the gradient is actually solved. After that, I need to specify the margin to 0, which will basically reset the entire margin, and then I need to here specify the color. And again, I will be using here a where function to access the CSS variables. Then here I need to specify the text color, which is going to be white. Then you can see here the heading is actually changed to white. Alright, so that is all for the body selector code. After that, I need to here specify the code for the container. So I need to here use the dot container and then starting its block of the code, and then I will be here using the display to flex, then flex direction, which is going to be column. If I control save it, now you can see the container is direction is actually changes to column 1. Then I need to specify the background color, and here I will be applying the color directly by specifying the color name. So 2E. If I control save it, now you can see there is a dark color is actually applied to the container background, and then I need to apply the border radius to get the rounded corners. Control save it, and actually I have specified the border bottom instead of border radius. So border radius, now you can see we get the rounded corners. After that, I need to apply the box shadow property. So here it is going to be 0, then type pixel, then this one is 20 pixel, then RGBA, that is this particular one, which is going to be 0, 0, and the alpha is going to be 0.1. And after that, I'm going to here specify a comma, and then again here 0, 6 pixel, then again I want to specify the 6 pixel, and then again I will be using the RGBA with this particular values. Alright, now if I control save it, then you can see there is a drop shadow is actually applied to this particular container. Alright, and after that here I will be using the height property. So height is going to be like 80 VH. Then you can see the 80 VH height is actually applied to the container, and then I need to also specify the width. So width is going to like 40 VW. Then you can see it's actually shrinked a little bit, and then I need to here specify the max height property. So here this is the max height property, and here I will be using the 80%. Control save it. So the maximum height it can take up to 80%, and then I need to specify the margin from all side, which is going to be 20 pixel. Alright, and then I need to specify the padding also. So padding from all side is going to be like 40 pixel. So you can see now padding of the container is actually increased, and then I need to provide the animation property. So animation, so here I will be using the fade in animation, that is going to be like 0.5s, and then I need to specify the ease. So we need to create the keyframes for this particular fade in animation. So for that I will be using the @keyframes. Then here I need to specify the identifier name, which is going to be like fade in, and then I need to here specify the from, then starting its block of the code, and then here I need to specify the to, and then starting its block of the code. Instead of the from, I need to specify the opacity to actually 0, and then here inside of this particular 2 I need to set the opacity to actually 1. If I control save it, then you can see this particular fade in animation will be applied inside this particular container. If I control save it, then you can see it's actually visible with the use of this particular fade in animation. Alright, now it's time to style this particular header. So here after the end of this particular keyframes, I need to apply the code to the header. So I'm going to cross check it quickly inside the index.html. So we are actually going to style this particular division part of the project, which is the header. So I'm going to copy the name of the header so that I didn't make any typo while typing the name of the selectors. Then I need to start its block of the code. Instead of that, first I am going to reset the display to flex, and then I am going to here specify the align items, which is going to be center. And after that, I need to here specify the margin, which is going to be 20 pixel. And then I need to here use the color again, and also I'm going to use the var to access the CSS variable. So here I will be using the accent color. Okay, so that's it for the header part of the project, and after that I need to apply the code for the header avatar. So here I will be again using the header, so dot header, then I need to use the avatar, which is this particular image. Right now it is actually very big. You can see here our heading is actually shifting here at robot, and we need to actually resize this particular image. Alright, so for that here I need to select the avatar, and also I'm going to cross check its spellings. So avatar is actually here, and also here I have typed the correct name. Alright, then I need to here use the background, so background color, and again I will be here using the var function, and then I need to specify the accent color. Okay, so now you can see the entire header avatar has this particular blue color, and then I need to here specify the align self property, that is this one, which is going to be center. Okay, and then after that I need to specify the padding, which is going to be 5 pixel, and then I'm going to specify the width, which is going to be 50 pixel. Then you can see the size of the image is actually resized. Alright, so if I now again increase the size of the Visual Studio Code window, and after the width property, it's time to apply the border radius. So I want a circular image so that it looks like an avatar. So for that, here I will be using the 50%. Control save it, then you can see the image is actually rounded entirely of the 50%. And after that, I need to here use the animation property. So animation, And here I need to provide the name of the animation, which is going to be like pulse avatar, and then I need to specify the time duration, and here I need to use the infinite. Alright, now it's time to create the keyframes for this particular pulse avatar animation. So for that I will be here using the @keyframes. Then I need to here specify the identifier name, which is like avatar, and here I need to specify the keyframes. So first is going to be like 0% and 0%, comma, and also the 100%. Then need to start its block of the code, and also I need to here create the 50% one. Then we need to start its block of the code. Instead of that, I need to here use the transform. So transform, then I need to use the scale function, which is going to be 1. And instead of this 50%, I need to here use the transform. Then I need to here use the scale function, and it is going to be like 1.1. Alright, now if I control save it, then you can see the pulse avatar animation is actually showing its result. Alright, now it's time to apply the code for this particular h3 element under the header. So here I'm going to again selecting the header, then h3, and then need to start its block of the code. And the first thing is I need to actually provide the margin left property, because right now they are very close to each other because there is no margin. So for that I need to apply the margin left, which is going to be 20 pixel. And then I need to apply the margin right property, which is going to be auto. Control save it. Now you can see it's actually shifted to the left, means it's actually shifted from the left side 20 pixel. Then I need to specify the font size, which is going to be 24 pixel. And then I need to actually change the color. So color, and here it is already having the accent color. So I can simply remove this color property because it's actually having the accent color. If you want to use a white or a different color, then you can actually use the text color if you want to use a white one. So it's totally up to you. So I have shown you the way how you can change the color. Alright, so after applying the color under the header, it's time to apply the code for the chat. So what I mean with the chat, if I show you the final version of the application, so this is the chat. So now we're going to style this particular part, which is actually denoted by this particular division tag. Alright, so I'm going to come back to the style.css. Also I'm going to open the our version of the application. So I have actually specified the control S, that is why this particular window popped up. So I'm going to close this particular window. So here after the header h3, I need to here specify the chat class. So chat, then I need to start its block of the code. Instead of that, first I'm going to use the background color, and again I will be using the var function to actually use the chat box color, that is this particular one. Now in order to actually see the impact, I need to specify the height. So height is going to be like 100%. If I control save it, then you can see the height is actually increased. Then I need to specify the padding, which is going to be 10 pixel. And after that, I need to apply the border radius property, which is going to be 20 pixel. Control save it, and you can see we get the rounded corners. And after that, for getting the scroll bar, whenever there is a chat is actually more than the size of the height. So in order to get this particular scroll bar, we need to use the overflow y property to auto. Alright, if I control save it, then you can see the impact, or I can say that the result of the property. Once this entire height is actually filled up with the content, then we get this vertical scroll bar. Alright, so after the chat, we need to apply the code for the message. So there are two things. The first is the message, and then we have the message joke and the message response. So message joke and message response, these are the CSS will be used dynamically by the JavaScript. Alright, so I'm going to create 3 more CSS module code. So what I mean, let me first type the code. So here actually I need to specify the semicolon after this particular auto. Alright, so here I need to specify the code which is for the message. So message, so this particular one will be used by the JavaScript dynamically to actually generate this particular CSS for these messages. Alright, so the first one is actually for the message, and the second one is actually for the joke. Alright, so we need to first create the style for the message, because right now these two are actually a simple message, and then we need to create another CSS to actually differentiate these things. Alright, so coming back to the message and also coming back to the our version of the application. So here inside this particular message, I'm going to actually change the font size to actually 16 pixel. And then I need to actually provide the line height, which is going to be 25 pixel. And here I will be using the width, which is going to be like fit content, not fine content. It is actually like fit content. And then I'm going to here actually apply the max width property, which is going to be 450 pixel. And then I need to apply the margin. So margin from top and bottom, it is going to be like 20 pixel, and from left and right it is going to be 10 pixel. And then I need to apply the padding, which is going to be 20 pixel. Alright, so after this particular padding, I need to apply the border radius, which is going to be 20 pixel. Now you can't see the result of this particular code because I already told you that the result of this particular code will be actually visible once we are actually applying the JavaScript, because this will be the code used by the JavaScript dynamically. And after that I need to type the CSS for the joke as well. So joke, and then I need to start its block of the code. Instead of that, I need to use the background color, which is again I will be using the var function, and here I will be using the accent color. And after that, for the font color, I will be using the white color. That will be used by this particular one, which because the joke one using the white color because the background is actually dark blue, means the blue color, which will actually, in that if we want to see the font clearly, then we need to use the white color instead of black. Alright, so here that is the reason I have specified the color white. Then I need to actually apply the border properties. So border top left, because I didn't want a border round from this particular part, so that is the reason I need to actually apply the border radius from top and left. Alright, so here I will be using the border property. So border, that is this one, so border, and here I need to actually provide the hyphen, which is going to be like top left. So here I need to actually border top left radius. So I need to use this particular property, border top left radius, which is going to be 0 pixel. So border top left radius, which is going to be 0 pixel. And then I need to also provide the padding. So padding is going to be 30 pixel, and here actually I need to remove the extra spacing. And then I need to actually create the another code, which is like response, which is the joke response from the code. So here again I need to use the message, then dot, and then it is actually response. Then I need to start its block of the code. And here I need to specify the background color, which is going to be like hash symbol 3 times E. And then I need to use the border top radius. So here I need to use the border top radius, or I can simply use the border top right radius, that is this one. Then here I need to specify this 0 pixel also. And after that I need to actually apply the margin left property to actually auto. And then here I need to actually set the padding. So padding from right, which is this particular one, is actually 30 pixel. And then I need to actually change the color to actually dark black one. So here hash symbol and 3 times 0. This will basically gives us a dark black color, that is for this particular one, right? Because this is actually the response that we want to display. Alright, so these 3 CSS code will become more clear when we are using the JavaScript, because this will be dynamically used by the JavaScript. And after that I need to here apply the code for this particular button. So here after this message dot response, we need to apply the code for the btn. So if I come back to the index.html, so here I have actually specified the class btn. Coming back to style.css, so btn, now I need to start its block of the code. So the first thing is I need to apply the background color. So here var, and then I'm going to use the accent color for the button background. Then for the font color I will be using the hash symbol 3 times f. And then I'm going to here use the font family, which is going to be inherit. Control save it. Then you can see the color of the button is changed and also the font color. Now it's time to apply the border. So border for the button is going to 0. Then I need to also apply the border radius, which is going to be 30 pixel. And after that I need to actually apply the padding. So padding from top and bottom is going to 40 pixel, means 14 pixel. And then from left and right it is going to 40 pixel. Then you can see the result of the code is actually applied to the button, and after that I need to apply the margin. So margin from all side, it is going to be 20 pixel, and after that I will be here applying the font size property to actually 18 pixel to actually increase the size of the font. Then for the cursor, which is going to pointer, and then I need to apply the transition property, and then here I need to use the transform. It is going to like 0.2s. Then this one is actually is, and then comma, and then also I need to apply the transform to the background color, not where background. Here actually the CSS variable syntax is used. So background color, and then I need to specify the time, which is going to 0.2s. Then the ease one. If I control save it, then you can see the content is actually shifted. If I actually decrease the size of the window, or you can see now this particular button will look like this. Also we need to define the hover state of the button. So again I will be here using the ptn, then colon, then the hover pseudo class. Then it's time to change the background color for the button. So background color, and here I will be using the blue one. Control save it, and now if I hover over the button, then you can see we get the changes inside the blue button. Alright, so that marks the completion of the code for the CSS part for this robot joke teller application. In the next part, we are going to start with the JavaScript part for the project.